Alright, let's slow things down for a second, because version 6.3 is not just another routine update. This patch feels like one of those turning points where gameplay systems, story direction, and character design all start moving together instead of separately. What I want to do in this video is break down what version 6.3 is really setting up. Not just who is coming, but why these characters exist, how the new elemental reactions actually work in practice, and how the story seems to be shifting after everything that happened with the moons, Columbina, and Dottore. We'll talk about the new lunar reaction system, how Columbina changes elemental combat just by being in your party, what makes Zibai and Illuga different from older Geo characters, and how Lantern Rite fits into all of this thematically and mechanically. Before we jump in, quick reminder. If you're planning your pulls for 6.3 and want to save some money, lootbar.gg works exactly like in-game top-ups but at a lower cost. You just enter your UID, select your server, choose a pack, and the crystals are delivered directly to your account. New users get an extra discount, returning users still save, and it's the same platform I've used in previous videos and giveaways. Link is in the description. Now, let's get into why version 6.3 feels different. The core idea behind this update is the lunar system. This isn't just a new reaction slapped on top of old mechanics. It's a full rewrite of how certain reactions behave, especially for Hydro, Geo, Electro, and Dendro. The most important thing to understand is this: lunar reactions only exist when Columbina is in the party. You do not need Zibai. You do not need Illuga. You do not need other nodkrai characters. As long as Columbina is present, familiar reactions like Electro-charged, Bloom, and Hydro-Crystallize are converted into Lunar-charged, Lunar Bloom, and Lunar-Crystallize. That alone already makes her one of the most influential characters the game has ever introduced. Columbina functions as a Hydro catalyst who plays almost entirely off-field. When she uses her skill, she creates a floating Hydro field that follows the active character. This field applies continuous AoE Hydro damage and reacts with whatever elements your team is triggering. Every time a lunar reaction happens near this field, it builds up a special energy called gravity. Once enough gravity is stored, the field releases a coordinated attack. Here's the interesting part: that coordinated attack changes its damage type based on which lunar reaction your team triggered the most. If your team focuses on Lunar Bloom, the follow-up hits as Lunar Bloom damage. If you focus on Lunar Charged, it switches to that instead. So Columbina doesn't force a single team style. She adapts to how you play. When she uses her elemental burst, she creates a large lunar domain around the battlefield. Inside this area, all party members receive buffs that increase lunar reaction damage, and Columbina gains additional effects tied to reaction consistency. There's also a survival mechanic here that shouldn't be ignored. If a party member is defeated while Columbina is present, she can revive them and restore HP. That's not a gimmick. That's a massive quality of life feature, especially for difficult content. Gameplay-wise, Columbina rewards rhythm and planning, not button mashing. The better your reaction timing, the stronger her output becomes. Now, this is where Geo finally changes. For years, Geo has been about shields, constructs, and raw stats. Version 6.3 flips that idea. The new Lunar-Crystallize reaction introduces something called moondrifts. When Lunar-Crystallize is triggered, 3 moondrifts appear on the field. These are not just visual effects. They resonate with each other. After enough Lunar-Crystallize triggers, the moondrifts activate and unleash coordinated attacks called Harmony Strikes. These attacks scale with reaction damage and can interact with Geo constructs. This turns Geo from a defensive element into a reaction-driven damage engine. And that's where Zibai enters the picture. Zibai is a Geo sword user, but she does not play like older Geo DPS units. Her kit is built around Lunar-Crystallize and Resonance. When she uses her skill, she enters a special state where her attacks are empowered and begin accumulating energy. That energy is then released through a powerful attack that deals Lunar-Crystallize reaction damage. The more consistently Lunar-Crystallize is triggered on the field, the faster this energy builds. And when moondrifts activate their harmony attacks, they further boost Zibai's damage. This creates a feedback loop. Zibai triggers Lunar-Crystallize. Moondrifts appear. Moondrifts resonate. Harmony attacks fire. Zibai's empowered strike hits harder. Her scaling is also unusual. She benefits from both defense and elemental mastery, which ties her directly into reaction-based builds instead of pure stat stacking. In short, Zibai is not a press burst and swap Geo unit. She's a frontline DPS designed for teams that actively manage reactions. Then there's Illuga. Illuga is a Geo support, but not in the traditional sense. He's designed to amplify Lunar-Crystallize teams, not replace them. Illuga summons a companion that attacks alongside him and provides buffs to the active character. When he uses his burst, based on his elemental mastery, he increases Geo damage and Lunar-Crystallize reaction damage for the team. He also provides a persistent team buff that enhances coordination and reaction output. Illuga doesn't steal damage, he multiplies it. In practice, this makes him the glue that holds Lunar-Crystallize teams together, especially alongside Zibai. Now let's talk about the story direction, because 6.3 is clearly not just filler. The narrative focus is on the moons. Not 1, not 3, but now 4. The story heavily implies that the balance of the world is breaking. Dottore has already seized the power of the moons, and his experiments are no longer regional threats. They are world-level disasters. Columbina's fate sits at the center of this conflict. She was once distant, almost untouchable, but over time she became closer to the traveler and the people around her. That emotional shift mirrors the larger theme of this arc: gods becoming involved with the mortal world, and the consequences that follow. The traveler's new outfit reinforces this theme. It visually mirrors the siblings' colors, suggesting shared origins and a return to something lost. This outfit is earned through the Arch-in quest, not through a shop, which makes its story significant rather than cosmetic fluff. Lantern Rite then acts as the emotional counterbalance to all of this. While the world is on the brink of collapse, Lantern Rite reminds us what's at stake. Community, memory, tradition. This year's Lantern Rite leans heavily into moon symbolism. The festival includes new mechanics, shared lantern messages between players, and both free and premium outfits. Players can obtain a free 4-star leeway character, event rewards, primogems, and a free outfit through festival progression. There's also a premium 5-star outfit released at a discounted price during the event period. As for banners, the expected structure is simple. Phase 1 features Columbina, paired with an Efa. This gives players immediate access to the lunar system and reaction enablers. Phase 2 shifts focus to Zibai, with Illuga boosted as a 4-star, and New Villette returning alongside Lantern Rite content. Finally, redeem codes. As with every special program, there are 3 limited time codes, worth around 300 primogems total. These codes expire quickly, usually within 12 to 24 hours, so they should be redeemed as soon as the stream ends. So to wrap this up, version 6.3 is not about power creep. It's about system evolution. Columbina rewrites reactions. Zibai redefines geo damage. Illuga reinforces team synergy. And the story moves from mystery into confrontation. This is the kind of patch that will feel even bigger a few versions from now, when we look back and realize this is where everything changed. If this breakdown helped you plan your pulls or understand the mechanics better, leave a like. Let me know in the comments which character you're most interested in. And if you want more clear, no-nonsense analysis as we get closer to release, consider subscribing. Good luck with your pulls, and I'll see you in the next one.